I think I'm going to have a breakdown. I have started this video over so many times, I lost count. I know I can get through this. I'm having coughing attacks, my allergies. Oh, dear Lord. Mic is in the wrong place. Can't hear. Lost my hearing aids. My son came over, found one though. All right, I am going to start this again. I can do this. Oh, dear Lord. All righty. I got a comment on a video that I did, not the last one. Say, I feel a cough coming on. Not the last one, but the one before, about reading the executive order that Trump signed, and I read a page. Fifth D Health responded to that video. And then there was a response from Dustin Green that responded to him that said nobody is going to read all that stupid, boring blank. All right? So, with that said, I printed it off. I don't know if you can see that. There's 2.5 pages. Okay? I did print it all off. I did read it. And I did go to the YouTube. He had referenced YouTube channels or videos in there. And I did go to each and every one of them. So if you see this 5D Health, I did read it. I did go to those YouTube channels and check them out. I really like the one that had the song. The very first one that you referred to. I thought that was really good. I will say this. I'm not going to read it online. I was going to until after I read it, because part of it, I get it. I think I understand, but a lot of it confused me. I felt it was confusing because I wasn't exactly sure in some parts where you were really coming from. So if you see this, you are more than welcome to reach out to me to explain some of it. Maybe we can have a conversation. Let's move on. I just wanted to update everybody. I know I'm a hot mess. I'm breaking out. I've gained weight. The stress is my stress level is high. Friday was my son took another trip, a short one this time. For an hour, I fought with my uncle Friday morning because he had agreed to go to the hospital because his feet were so swollen like a Cabbage Patch doll. I mean, they were swelled up, bright red, and they're not getting any better. So I said, we have to have this addressed. We have to have this looked at because they're only getting worse. No matter, we went to the 3 different foot doctors, and even though the last one was a total jerk, they're kind of saying the same thing, and they're not really giving us any direction. After fighting with him for an hour, I finally got him to agree to go. So we go to the hospital. At first they thought he had cellulitis, and there was some concern because of how red, how swollen, and all of that. So they did go ahead and admit him and put him on an IV antibiotic. However, he was even though when you admit somebody, they still have to wait for a room to open up to actually go into, even it doesn't matter. So he was laying in the hallway for a time, and he told me to go ahead and leave. It was okay. And I was like, are you sure? He said yes. Because I knew, even though I took him there in the morning, there's no telling how long you're going to wait before you actually do get a room. So, and he's at the hospital. I mean, they will take care of him. I know it's kind of a pain, and It's never easy. It's never fun to be there. Believe me, I know. I've been through it a lot. So I went. I went home. I got home, and the girl that gives my aunt a bath called, and all right, I can do this. I can do this. Oh my goodness. I got home. The girl that gives my aunt a bath called me because after so many sessions or baths, she will call me so I can pay her. We haven't worked out. So I told her I was at Uncle's and to go ahead and meet me here. I did go out and have lunch with my sister before that. Long story short, which is not going to be short, she came, I paid her. She told me that she did not think our aunt was doing very well. She was coughing, congested, having a hard time breathing. I said, okay. I called my sister, asked her to run and check on her because I was right in the middle of doing something. So she went. Then she called me and concurred. She's not doing well. You better get here. I think we should call the ambulance. I get in my car, get over there. I'm not at all impressed or happy with the facility anymore. I think they've gone downhill. I mean, they're nice enough, but I think the quality of care has really gone downhill. A lot of, there's a big turnover. I get there, I go to the room. My sister is trying to get people to do her vitals. It's like I can't even. Anyway, we had them call an ambulance. And what they do, which is really kind of cool now, at least here, is they send a pre-EMS. It's a guy or it's a person in a Jeep that has the same equipment as EMS does. So they can do an assessment, start things, because if an ambulance is held up at all, they can at least get things going while we're waiting for them. So that's pretty cool. So a gentleman showed up with a bunch of stuff, and then he was doing vitals and doing this, and then the ambulance showed up. And so they got her loaded. I'm not going to start this over. I forgot where I left off. This is what happens when you get phone calls, and I'm sure I'll get another one. Friday, when we took her to the hospital, this is I think where I left off. We called the ambulance. Now, I always ride with the ambulance when we take her to the hospital because if they have to detour, I have to let, other people know where she ended up at. Now, I was like, please, 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 please get her to Beaumont. I mean, that is so important. I guess the guy in the back, because she does this, like, when she breathes, it's like, let me see if I can do this. It's like. So she does this shoulder action. Oh, that hurts. I don't know how she does it. I mean, and not get sore. But usually it's like not quite as bad. But as it gets more harder to breathe, it's more prominent. And she was doing this in the ambulance, and I think it upset the EMS guy in the back. So he told the driver that we need to, put the siren on, get her there. So we're on a it's a busy street. It's one of those where there's 3 lanes, maybe 4, the middle thing, and then the other side we're going one way. Anyway, he puts the siren on and the horn and all of that. And the car in front of him, boom, just stops. Bam. I never put my brake on so hard in my life. I mean, it just seemed like you could probably put a piece of paper between. And it's like, seriously? These people, when they drive, when you hear a siren and horns, I mean, first they do the lights. Pay attention to when you're driving. So if you see lights, you start to move, get out of the way. Then you hear the siren, then you hear the horn. You don't just smack stop in front of the ambulance. Oh, dear Lord. Then, so he was going to go around her, so she starts going the same way that he's going. It's like, oh my God, just, if you already stopped, just stop and let him go around. Oh my goodness gracious. So we're driving, siren's going. I wanted to tape it so bad, but I didn't want to get in trouble, and I didn't want to cause any distractions or anything because I had turned on my phone. So all I have is the siren going. So then it was really interesting. But then we get to this intersection, and it's a busy intersection. You can see that everybody's stopping, parting ways on both sides. You know, they're parting, they're stopping. He's got the siren, he's got the horn going. It looks good. He hesitates before proceeding on, and all of a sudden, whoo, a car goes by. It's like, seriously? Did you not see the car stopping? Did you not see them parting ways? Oh no, they were parting for you to get through the light or whatever. I was like, oh my God, had he proceeded, we would have been T-boned. I'm flabbergasted about how people are around ambulance. And he's like, I'm a good driver. I said, I know you're a good driver. It's not you that I'm worried about. It's the other people that I'm worried about. But we got there safe and sound. And they got her in the back, and they had all these doctors around her, all these machines around her, and the whole 9 yards. And by then, I had gone and checked on my uncle, and he had been admitted. And he was not a happy camper because he had just gotten the room. So he had pretty much been in the hallway from 10 in the morning till 6 at night, 6:30, 6, anyway. And I get it. And he doesn't like their beds, and they're uncomfortable, and he can't lay down, and it has to be up, and da-da-da-da. My daughter was there, so then they finally put my aunt in a holdover room where they could bring machines and everything. So they put her in there, and I went and, we were kind of back and forth. I don't remember actually what time it was. They went ahead and told us, everything, she's stable. She had the mask on for breathing because she was having a hard time breathing. It's a BiPAP or something like that. They upped the oxygen. So they told us to go ahead and go home. So we did. So that was Friday. Now Saturday morning we got up, we went there. Now by this time they had put my uncle in a room on the 5th floor, and they had put my aunt in a room on the 4th floor. That's fun. So anyway, so we went and we checked on our aunt, and we hung out with her, and she was really having a hard time breathing. At this time, they said that her respiratory breathing was really, really fast. So they were giving her morphine to calm her down, to slow her down, because she has high anxiety. And so we sat with her, for a while, and then we went kind of back and forth to check on my uncle to make sure that they had breakfast, lunch, and, food was ordered for them. And we wanted to try to catch doctors and nurses and updates and whatnot. So then Saturday, because my daughter had so much to get done, we went ahead and left. We didn't really stay as that long, but we left, and she was wrapping presents, my daughter, so I went just to kind of keep her company. And the phone rings, and it's the doctor. It's actually the doctor for my aunt. It's a cardiologist, and he said that her breathing had escalated. I don't totally understand it all. I think it's like 13 to 20 is a normal breathing rate, maybe, but hers was 45, 50, 60. It got up to 60, and that's like way too high. And then she'll tend to be shallow. So they have the mask back on her. They gave her more morphine to calm her down, told us that the next 24 hours was crucial, but nothing was going to happen within the next hour. But we should probably be there, because there was no telling what was going to happen. So we literally just dropped everything and got in the car and headed over there. And so we were there watching her vital signs and trying to prepare ourselves for the worst. And she's a fighter, though. I'll tell you, she's a fighter. Because it didn't look good. Now, the day before, and I may have said this, like I said, when I edit this, I asked if my uncle could go visit her because they don't get to see each other that much. They said, no, it's against hospital policy, da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, nuts, I said, she's like right here. What is the problem? Why can't I just take him upstairs to say hi? Well, anyway, this time I went down there, up there. I went upstairs and I told him, I said, look, his sister's not in good condition. I said, we don't know if she's going to make it through the night. He's going to be really upset if he doesn't get to say goodbye. So you need to talk to somebody and see if I can take him up there to just, see her. And so she talked to somebody, and the nurse came and stuff, and she said, okay. She goes, I'll take him up there with you, And I'm like, that's great. So we went up there, and she said, he can stay as long as he wants. Just call me. And I said, I have no problem bringing him back. And she said, that's fine then. If you can bring him back and you feel comfortable, then when you're done, just bring him back to his room. Okay, no problem. So he sat there. I mean, she has the mask on, so she really can't say anything. She tries to say something, and my daughter seems to understand her when she seems to understand what she's trying to say. So we were kind of going back and forth. And so he stayed for a little bit, and, I had to get him back, and he said goodbye. So I took him back. And then I went back to her room, and my daughter and I were like, should we stay the night? They said that she's stable. Should we go home and get some sleep? I mean, we're exhausted at this point. I mean, we're so exhausted because we really weren't sleeping even from Friday. It was just exhausting because it's just exhausting. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and it was probably, I don't remember what time it was, but the nurse came, and she said, anyway, the nurse came and told us that she's stable, she'll be fine, we should go home and get some sleep. So, I mean, we were trying to think, because we're probably 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. If there's absolutely no traffic, we get all green lights, we can do it in 30 minutes, technically. But that would be like super perfect conditions. And that never happens. So we were looking at possibly getting a hotel, and they were all like 15 minutes away, and then it's expensive, and I don't know. We ended up going home, but literally we just slept for 3 hours and got up super early. Now it's Sunday, and we wanted to get to the hospital super, super early so we could talk to all the doctors. I'm at 25 minutes, so I am going to start another video to go into Sunday because I really don't want these to be that long, and I know I can cut a lot out of this. I really want it to be more doable. And something happened on Sunday, which made me think of Willow Davis and his comment on drivers. So I'm going to go on to part 2. Talk to you real soon. Bye.